I knew something was wrong the moment I stepped out of the cab and saw the house. The porch light was off even though my mom always left it on for me, especially when I was traveling home late. The windows were dark, every one of them, like the whole place was holding its breath. But the real shock hit me when I unlocked the front door and stepped inside. The house was empty, completely empty. No Christmas lights, no music, no smell of baking, no voices, no shoes by the door, nothing. Just darkness and silence, except for one soft noise coming from the kitchen. And when I walked in, there was my grandma hunched over the table in her coat, eating cold leftovers out of a tupper, where like she'd been abandoned there hours ago. She looked up at me with this tired smile that broke my heart. And then she slid a folded piece of paper toward me with her shaky hand. "They left this," she said, and the note, God, even now I can't think about it without feeling my stomach twist. It said, "We didn't think you were coming, don't wait up." That was it, 8 words, 8 stupid, crushing words. So now I need to know, was I wrong for what I did next? Would you have reacted the same way if your own family left your grandmother alone on Christmas? The thing is, Christmas had always been our family's biggest deal. Growing up, it felt like a sacred tradition, decorating cookies, fighting about ornaments, singing badly, laughing loudly. All of us crammed together like circus clowns in a tiny living room. Even after I moved out for college and later for work, I returned every single year, no matter how swamped I was. No matter how exhausted, no matter how far I had to travel, and this year was supposed to be extra special. I had taken extra days off, bought gifts early, even shipped some ahead of time because my suitcase was too full. Mom told me they were all excited. My sister texted me a whole list of things she wanted us to do together. Dad joked about saving me the last slice of pie. So imagine my confusion when I walked into that dark kitchen and saw only Grandma sitting there like some forgotten leftover herself, eating a cold ham slice with her fingers because she couldn't find a fork. "Where is everyone?" I asked her, still waiting for someone to jump out. I don't know, maybe I thought it was a prank or surprise. Something, anything but the truth. Grandma just sighed, this long, tired sigh that sounded like she was letting out a whole year of disappointment. "They left this morning," she said. "Your mother thought you weren't coming." I felt my jaw clench. But I told her my flight was delayed, not canceled. I had sent 3 texts, and she responded to none. Grandma nodded like she already knew that part. Then she reached for her cup of tea cold, of course, and whispered, "I told them to wait, but your mother said they had reservations. You know how she gets." I stared at her thin hands shaking slightly as she tried to sip the tea. My heart burned. They knew I was coming. They knew Grandma couldn't stay alone long. They knew she hated being left behind, and still, they left her. And the worst part, she defended them while sitting alone in a cold house like she didn't matter. I helped her warm up some proper food, set it on the table, and sat beside her while she ate. She kept telling me she was fine, that I shouldn't make a big deal out of it, that she didn't want to ruin Christmas with drama. But my brain kept looping one thought. My family left my grandmother alone on Christmas Day, not on accident, not because of an emergency, but because it was inconvenient to wait another hour for me, and because reservations at some overhyped, overpriced Christmas brunch apparently meant more than their own mother. When Grandma finally finished eating, she patted my hand and said she was just grateful I came home at all. That made me want to cry. She shouldn't have been grateful for basic decency. She deserved so much more. I took her to the living room, turned on the heater, plugged in the Christmas lights she couldn't reach, and tried to make it feel like Christmas again. She smiled when the lights flickered on, but I could tell she was trying hard not to show how hurt she really was. Grandma always hid her feelings for the sake of family peace. I used to think that made her strong. Now I realized it just made it easier for others to ignore her. After she fell asleep on the recliner, I walked around the house checking everything. The gifts I'd shipped ahead were still in the corner, unopened. My stocking wasn't hung. My sister's decorations were missing. And there was no food except the bits Grandma had found in the fridge. They didn't just leave. They stripped the house of Christmas like they expected never to come back tonight. Around 10 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was a message from my mom. Just one line. "Hope you made other plans. No apology. No explanation, no concern for Grandma. That message was like a match thrown into gasoline, because in that moment everything clicked for me. They didn't forget me, they didn't misunderstand, they didn't accidentally leave Grandma behind, they planned it. They didn't want me there, they didn't want the inconvenience of waiting. They didn't want me messing up whatever perfect Christmas they had imagined. Maybe they thought I'd cancel. Maybe they thought Grandma wouldn't care. Maybe they didn't think at all. The truth is, I had always been the one doing the most work to hold the family together. I called first. I organized plans, I traveled the furthest, I bought thoughtful gifts, I made accommodations, and every year it felt like they appreciated it less and less. Little comments, little dismissals, little ways they made me feel like a guest instead of family, but leaving Grandma alone. That crossed a line I didn't even realize existed, and it wasn't just about me anymore. It was about respect, about values, about what kind of people they chose to be. So I sat there in the dim living room watching Grandma breathe softly in her sleep, and I made a choice. A big one I wasn't sure I'd ever make. But before I tell you what I did next, I want you to think about it. Seriously, put yourself in my shoes. Your family abandons your grandmother. Your sweet, frail grandmother. On Christmas Day because they don't feel like waiting for you. They leave her with cold leftovers and a note. They ignore your messages. They blow you off, and then act like you should have made other plans. So tell me, what would you have done? Would you have confronted them, cut them off, packed your bags and left? Before I go on, comment below. I really want to know if my reaction was justified or if I went too far. By the time Grandma woke up, I had made my decision. I told her gently that we were going out. She insisted she didn't want to be a burden. I told her she wasn't, she never had been. I helped her into her coat, bundled her up, grabbed the gifts I'd brought, and loaded everything into my car. She kept asking where we were going, and I just told her, somewhere better. And I meant it. I booked us a hotel suite, something warm, festive, bright, and full of holiday decorations in the lobby. I got her checked in, ordered room service, and finally got her to eat something freshly cooked. When she saw the little Christmas tree in the lobby, her whole face lit up. She whispered, "This is lovely," like she hadn't felt that way in a long time. While she was getting settled, I took the extra step. I called the restaurant where my family had their Christmas reservations. The hostess confirmed my family had a table. And guess what? They had also ordered ahead, so I asked her to transfer me to the table. When my mom answered, she sounded annoyed, like I was interrupting her perfect evening. "What is it now?" she said. I kept my voice calm, too calm. "I just wanted to let you know," I said, "that Grandma is with me. She's safe, she's warm, and she's not spending Christmas alone anymore." There was a long pause, a cold one. Then my mom said we thought she'd be fine. My blood boiled. She wasn't, I said. "But don't worry, I'll take care of Christmas from now on. You don't have to bother." And then I hung up. I didn't wait for her response. I didn't want to hear excuses. After that, I blocked them, every single one of them. My mom, my dad, my sister, even the group chat. I wasn't playing games anymore. They made a choice, and so did I. For the rest of Christmas Eve, Grandma and I watched movies, ate too many desserts, laughed at the predictable plots, and talked about everything except the people who had abandoned her. She told me stories I'd never heard before, about her childhood, her favorite holidays, how she always wanted the family to stay close. It made me realize how much she had been sidelined over the years, how easily everyone overlooked her, assuming she'd always be there, always be fine, always be quiet. But she wasn't fine, and she shouldn't have had to be. Christmas morning, I surprised her again. I drove us to see the town Christmas lights, then to a diner she used to love, where the staff greeted her like an old friend. She hadn't been there in years because no one bothered taking her. When the waitress recognized her and hugged her, Grandma teared up. And honestly, so did I. I gave her all her gifts while we ate breakfast. She opened them slowly, her hands trembling, savoring every moment like it was the first Christmas she'd had in decades that felt truly hers. She kept saying, "This is the best Christmas I've had in years." And that made everything worth it. My family didn't reach out again. Not that day. Not the next. Not for a week. Eventually, my sister sent a passive-aggressive message asking why I made things dramatic. I didn't respond. What was there to say? They left their own grandmother alone. They left me behind too, and for what? Convenience, a reservation, a selfish desire for a picture. Perfect holiday. I was done chasing them. I was done being the one who cared more. I decided that moving forward, my holidays would be on my terms, with people who actually valued me, people who didn't treat their own family like afterthoughts. Grandma stayed with me for 2 more weeks. I didn't let her go home to an empty house. We cooked together, watched old shows, and I helped her reorganize her things so she wouldn't struggle as much. She told me she felt safe with me. She said she wished things had been different with the rest of the family, but she understood why I made the choices I did. And when she said she was proud of me for standing up for both of us, I knew I had done the right thing. Maybe one day my family will apologize. Maybe they won't, but Christmas changed everything for me. It showed me who actually mattered and who never really cared. And if choosing Grandma over them makes me the villain in their story, then so be it. I'd rather be a villain with a conscience than a hero in a family that treats people like they're disposable. So that's my story, and now I'm curious, whose side are you on? Did I go too far? Or did my family cross a line no one should ever cross? If you were me, what would you have done? Like this video if you were on my side. Subscribe for more stories like this. And share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. I'll see you all in the next story.